Hello, my name is Joseph Ugo,
And I'm Ugo Ndwagumba.
and today is our first episode for our new podcast.
Amazing. I'm so excited to share some nuggets with you guys.
So, the main objective for starting the Success Talk podcast is really true inspiration, and also because we kind of want to elevate some of the things that we're trying to do. Let me ask you, because this is our first episode that we're officially doing after 3 attempts. So, what do you think would be the first topic for us to discuss when it comes to the Success Talk itself?
Let's talk about some of the reasons why we feel like people are not successful. Can we talk about the system itself?
What system?
System is the way the country is built,
Okay.
and how if you don't go outside the box a little bit, it's going to be very hard to be wealthy. You have to think outside the box a little bit in order to be wealthy. So I just want to kind of, because it's our first topic, start from a system approach to really talk about the American system and why I feel like it's geared to keep people where they are. People need to understand the system first.
Okay, so you said system. What do you mean by system? Like, what is the system that you're talking about?
W-2, a job, corporate job.
You said W-2. What is
Making money.
W-2?
W-2 is when we get paid a salary,
Okay.
which includes 401k, bonuses for some people, and they issue you a W-2 statement showing that you earn income. They report that to the IRS in a sense. So the American system, which is, it's not a bad thing, but it's not designed to make you wealthy and well off.
I thought the American system was capitalism, like starting your own company, starting your own business. So why is it so many people are in the system when it comes to W-2s?
Well, the reason why a lot of people are in the system is because it's safe.
Okay.
It's very safe, and also that's what we're conditioned to do by our parents, seek for safety, because with safety you have a guarantee. But sometimes when you go outside the system, you could fail or you could be wildly successful. And I feel like a lot of people, because of the uncertainties, a lot of people choose to be safe.
So is safe people's way of coping with fear?
I would say it's part of that.
Okay.
And also, people want to be respectful to their parents or their role models, so they want to do what they asked to do, even if it's not necessarily what they want to do, because they are afraid of the alternative as well.
So now you're being controversial.
A little bit, a little bit.
We just started.
But that makes good commentary,
I think that when capitalism comes, people who are employees, if you're going to start a company, you need workers.
Absolutely.
So if you're telling more people to not be in W-2, that could discourage capitalism for some, because now they don't have those workers. Now they're kind of looking for someone to do the job. So what would you say is a good alternative to W-2 that wouldn't, cripple the economy.
I wouldn't say necessarily that it would cripple the economy. And you're right, not everyone can be an entrepreneur or a business owner, right?
Yeah.
But if your goal is to be widely successful and change your generations to come, you're likely not going to get to that goal doing W-2. Yeah. And I'll tell you the reasons why. The first thing is taxes. W-2, before you get your first paycheck, that money is deducted from your account based on your income tax bracket. You have zero way of trying to prevent that, or even being able to write off some of the things. They also own your time and your life, so you cannot walk around them. And the truth is, whatever productivity that you do, the CEO or the upper management, they always benefit more by orders of magnitude, in a sense. And that money never barely trickles down to you, because at the end of the day, you're just an employee. The one final thing that I do want to say is, no matter how valuable you are, you're very dispensable. And you're dispensable not because of your own decision, but upper management decision. If they do something and they lose money and they can't afford you anymore, they'll kick you out, they'll put you out. Yeah.
I guess, would you say system in your definition has more to do with like the mindset of the individual within that system? Is that what you kind of lean towards?
No, the mindset of the individual.
With the W-2,
right,
there's a mindset that's attached to it, not just the job itself, not just the way we make money. People are scared sometimes to leave that W-2 job.
Yeah, I agree. People are scared, and sometimes, W-2 res, it's ugly and then people see it for what it is, but they still stick to it because it's the only thing that they know, because they're afraid of trying other things. I do think it's a little bit of a mindset. I also think the society makes it the best thing that you can do and makes it easier. I'll give you some examples. If you want to buy real estate, it's way easier to have a W-2 income in terms of qualifying and everything. If you want to know how hard it is to buy real estate conventionally, try doing it as a business owner. It doesn't matter how much you earn. If that income is not consistent and you don't pay yourself consistently and file taxes on that amount, it's almost very difficult to get a loan. So getting a loan, insurance, some of these things that human beings really need, in a sense. And that's why a lot of people fall to W-2. One of my really good friends, I'm not going to name drop him, his child needs something. Right? Something very, very important. And insurance covers that. Being an entrepreneur does not really cover that. It has to come out of pocket. So they make it very convenient and safe to do W-2. But if you're someone that believes a lot in yourself and feel like you have a lot of value to offer to the marketplace, you can be wildly successful doing your own thing and building your business, because over time you're going to look back and you're going to build something incredible. And the best thing actually about working for yourself or building a business is really your time, right? You get to own your time. You don't go to work because someone says you have to be at work. You don't go to the office because someone says you have to be in the office. You do it because you want to.
Nice. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I think it's one of those things where people have to take that risk to get to where they're trying to go. Right. And I think for me, I believe that a lot of people are fearful to take that risk because they're not certainty or confident in themselves yet. Right. So they kind of like push away from those type of things because they're like, if I take that risk, I don't have nothing to fall back to. And then, they fall on their butt. Yeah,
and that's why I encourage people also to do the hybrid approach, which is do whatever W-2 or work you're doing.
So define the hybrid approach first, so that whoever's listening can understand what you
Yeah, hybrid approach is when someone has a W-2 job, a salary as an engineer, doctor, teacher, whatever you have, a W-2 salary with the benefits. You can keep that job and keep doing it, but in the evenings, the weekends, you find another passion, another business, or you invest the money. That way you can compound your growth. The magical thing about money is the wealthiest people sometimes they didn't just make that from income. They made it through capital appreciation, which is real estate, stocks, bonds, gold, crypto, all these things, annuities, index universal life, different products.
So you're saying that these people learned how to make money work for them, basically.
Absolutely, because money works 24/7, and that's what people need to get to. So we're kind of talking about two different things in a way. So in one hand, you want to be your own boss. You want to have your business, grow income, and still invest. Now, on the other hand, you work for someone, but that money that you use, you invest it in the right things, and you can still become wealthy.
Okay, so just to put everything together when it comes to the system that you speak of, right? Are you saying that there's different systems that are working for and against people, or are you saying that there's a system that people just kind of slide into that system and then they just get lost in it? Like, what are you actually saying when it comes to the system as it applies to a lot of people?
I mean, what I'm going to say right now is extremely, controversial.
Okay.
I would say the creation of the system, the general system, is really meant to keep people down here and keep the rich up here, and the people down here do all the work to benefit the people here, in a sense. However, there are two ways to gain the system. One is to work for yourself. America affords amazing opportunities to anyone that decides to be an entrepreneur because it's very capitalist. You can be whatever you want. So you can choose to do that and grow. Or you can also choose to invest in the right things. Now, the reason why I think the system doesn't teach you how to invest is, how many times in school did you learn how to buy stocks?
Never.
How many times did they teach you about the interest rate of credit cards and all these things? All you see on TV is buy ads, cars, this, that. Everybody's selling you. The wealthy are selling you. And all you do is buy, and then they raise prices on you and everything. So if you don't think outside the box and go out of, sort of the bubble, whatever, you find yourself working and purchasing. Wow. But you have to get to a level where you really start investing. And when you start investing, then that's how you can finally start to understand everything.
Okay. So give me a simple definition to explain to people who may still be a little bit confused, because you're using a lot of great language for people who understand money. But someone who may be watching this video could say to themselves, I hear the system, and I know there's a gap between where I am at and where wealthy people are at. How do I bridge that gap while still working? Because I think a lot of fear most people might face is that they don't want to give up the job to bridge the gap. They still want to pay their bills. Because if you don't pay your bills, you're going to be homeless, or you're going to be without whatever those needs are that the bill is helping you cover. So what would you tell a normal person to help them bridge that gap within the system to go from being that employee that is stuck at the job that they hate to at least gaming the system where they can now have money working for them and all the opportunities that capitalism can afford?
Yeah, I would say for that person to be able to do, you have to make some sacrifices, and some of them are going to be difficult. And what I mean by sacrifices are everybody has a little bit of disposable income, just a little bit, some more than others. Your disposable income, you can choose to watch TV, Netflix, buy coffee, subscriptions.
Yeah.
Or you can tailor that money and start to invest it a little bit. The difference is if you buy coffee and all these things, then eventually you're gonna see that you don't have money. But if you start to invest and you invest in the right things, over time you start to, get wealthy and make money. Another thing is if you now happen to really, really kind of document your process and share it with people, then you can even grow faster because now the law order of magnitude in life is whatever you give out, you get back. So if you help people, you get that back in magnitude. So if you're someone that's studying and investing and telling people what you're investing in as you do it, you even get to your goal a lot faster. So that's one of the things that I would advise because everyone has people that are similar to them. Whatever salary they're making, whether it's 40,000 a year, 60, 80, whatever. If you start to talk about, hey, rather than doing this, I'm doing this and I'm investing in these things, and explain your rationale for investing, make a little bit of content or just share with the small group you have, there's orders of magnitude of benefit that comes that way. If you just invest and not share with people, the price is going to do well, but if you share with people, then you magnify.
What do you mean with share with people? What is that?
On social, talk about, just educate people.
What if someone is camera shy? Not everyone can be in front of a camera. Some people are camera shy.
If you're camera shy, then I would say do posts. Some people can do posts like quotations or whatever. In terms of motivating people, and I see a lot of people doing that. A lot of people don't think people are watching, but people are watching and they see what you're doing, and when the right time comes, people are going to reach out to you to offer you something good or ask for an advice.
So how would someone gamify this knowledge, right? So when I say gamify, I mean create like a step-by-step that they can follow. Because I feel as though if you have a step-by-step, it makes it a little bit easier for you to follow whatever the advice is.
Yeah.
So how would someone gamify this advice so that they can follow the step-by-step to get to where they're trying to get to within the system?
Yeah, I would say everyone has their own unique personality. People have something that's fun to them that they like to do. The way to gamify this step by step is to figure out what makes you happy, what gives you reward, what kind of challenges. Like, are you someone that likes competitive? If you are a competitive person, then figure out how to incorporate competition in your learning and your desire to grow. If you're someone that likes to check off tasks and it makes you happy, figure that out and build a step-by-step process. But what I would say is, for sure, you should have like a target goal, whether it's a monetary target goal or growth or whatever, and you should figure out how to do it in a way that you enjoy. The reason why I say this is, if you do it the way someone else enjoys, you're probably gonna quit along the way. Sometimes, people think that in terms of dollars, how much money they're making, but sometimes that's not the motivator. If you change that and feel like, okay, I'm talking to this many people, or I research this many stocks, or I talk to this many realtors to get real estate. If you figure out how to gamify it in a way that you enjoy, you can be widely successful.
So the first thing is to gamify the idea of getting out of that regular W-2 mindset. Right?
Yes.
And then what's the next one that they'll do after they sat down and gamify the process?
You just have to write it down, and something that inspires you to get up early.
I would say, yes, you want to get out of the W-2 job. The first thing, obviously, you want to gamify the process so that you can attach certain reality for yourself, like see yourself in it. But network is the second thing. you want to start networking, right? Am I right?
Mhm.
Start networking with people within that industry or field that you're really interested in, and also you want to take some time to start learning how those people who are successful in that industry became successful. If there's any certifications that is offered online for that type of industry, you take that certification. If there's any type of educational thing about it, you take that. Whatever it is within that industry that you're trying to be successful at, you want to start studying those things and learning those things so that when you go networking with people, you can ask questions about stuff you've been learning.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things we had a guy who started a training program, and he mentioned something about investment.
Yeah.
Right? How he was trying to negotiate investment.
Mhm.
Right? Had he not said anything about investment, I would not have known that he was serious about learning real estate. So if you start learning from online resources and online tools, and you're networking, you can find someone that would now want to mentor you or give you advice on things that they did in your shoes, or you can find someone that went through what you're going through and they give you advice on how to start doing things the way they did it to get out of where you are. Third one is learn something, like learn classes or courses or something online within that industry. The fourth, going to be give yourself a time frame.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
It could be 5 years, right? It could be 10 years. It could be 6 months. It could be a year.
3 months.
Exactly. Give yourself a time frame. I know a lot of people say 3 months. I like maybe 6 months, a year, because I feel as though it's more realistic for most people to accomplish the goals in 6 months. Most people are not, they are more.
It's 50-50, depends. It's 50-50.
Okay, so yeah, give yourself a time window to do what that said thing that you want. Once you give yourself that time window, always remind yourself, especially when it gets hard, why you are doing what you're doing. Why you are transitioning from that W-2 job, that system that's holding you down, why you are transitioning. Because I think people forget that.
Right.
People, I use me for example, I forgot things in the middle of stuff. Like I started a new industry, and in the middle of it, I forgot why I started it, or I don't remind myself consistently. So when it gets tough, I just take a break.
Absolutely.
So you have to remind yourself, right? Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why you got into that time of you working hard. And last but not least, I probably say I'm putting in an extra one in there, the sixth one, but you can add more if you want. Don't compare yourself.
Ever.
Like, do not compare yourself. Your journey may be longer than the next person. If you compare yourself, you would never ever feel like you accomplished anything. And so, like, not comparing yourself is hard for a lot of people. Because a lot of people want to get the quick results, the microwave results, right?
Absolutely.
I started today, got it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky.
Overnight success.
Yeah, I got lucky, right? Like, don't compare yourself at all. Like, remind yourself that not everybody has the same background that you have. Not everybody has the same upbringing as you. Not everyone is going to think like you. Now, if you find people that have similar thoughts, you go with them. But that's what I'm going to throw in there. What do you have to say?
I would say move at your own pace and do what feels right to you. Comparing yourself brings anxiety. When you don't understand entirely everything about that person, it's hard to compare yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you're a content creator, for example, and you have an accent, and someone is born here, and people understand him naturally, or them, and you're comparing yourself because you're not getting as much traction.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
Right? You just have to compare yourself against the old you. Are you
I
making
agree with
progress?
that, man. You
That's
had
it.
some fire jams. Come on, repeat that again. So people can hear that right. You
Right.
said?
Rather than comparing yourself to other people, compare yourself to the old you.
Man,
You're competing against yourself. And if the tomorrow you is better than yesterday you, you're making progress.
yeah, I agree. I also believe by comparing yourself to the old you, you're giving yourself more power to keep going.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
I'll use me for example, man. There's a lot of things that I stopped doing. Like I don't go out to clubs. I don't go drinking and party. Right?
Mhm.
But there was a moment in my life where that was every weekend.
Right.
There was a moment in my life where I couldn't say no to friends going to hang out.
Mhm.
You know, I couldn't say no to spending $50 in one night.
Right.
You know, or $100 in one night. You know, some people spend $500. Some people spend half their paycheck.
Absolutely. All, not half. All.
So I had a friend tell me that they spent like $500 in 2 days going out.
It happens. All you do, yeah.
It's too much.
You just buy a table and that money is.
Especially if you had like women coming in there and just getting the free drinks.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point.
To kind of summarize everything, like America is very systemized. There's systems in place as we know, right?
Mhm.
Not just America, but the West, right? You know, Western countries, especially like Canada, UK, US, Australia, Western countries in general, but mostly the United States, very systemized, right? Big
Right.
countries, right? And most of the system keeps a lot of people below. Like, you know,
Yes. Yes.
W-2, regular employee individuals. But if someone is sick and tired of the system putting them down, they need to break out of that. And this is the way to do that.
Absolutely.
By following these steps that we get.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't think of anything else, but
No,
is there anything else you want to
No.
advice you want to give people?
I would say just take action. Simple as that. Take action and, start a competition with yourself and win every day.
So now, before we wrap up this video, I want to also give you guys just a proposition. I don't know when you guys are watching this video, but I want you guys to kind of think on the things we discussed today and kind of see how this can apply to your personal life. And basically, would like to also kind of lead you into our next topic for our next video, which is going to be what? What do you think should be our topic for our next video?
There are 4 pillars to have a solid financial foundation.
Okay.
And we want to start with the basics, which is the core foundation.
Okay.
And that is going to involve financial education, financial services type of law. Let's say we start with that.
So what area do you think we should focus on that could help?
I would say insurance.
Here he's talking insurance. I wonder who's gonna watch the video knowing that he said insurance. I would say probably financial
Financial education and solutions. That's what I want us to talk about. Yeah.
So with that being said, guys, if you like that video, you like the topic, definitely comment below, like, share, subscribe, support our channel, and we'll see you in the next video.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in.
Awesome. Have a good day.